Muslim Lawyers Association of South Africa has been turned down in their request to have India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi investigated when he attends the Brics summit in South Africa next week. Of course, that's taking place in Johannesburg. The association's request was based on a report by the UN about military atrocities by Indian soldiers in Kashmir. Modi is under pressure at home. He faced a motion of no confidence today, and of course various issues in India such as the protection of women. India found to be last when it comes to female safety. Well, we're joined on the line by the Muslim Lawyers Association Vice Chair Yousha Tayob. Mr. Tayob, thank you for being with us. Was this really a serious request?
It definitely was a serious request, and the press statement issued by the NPA belies the 7-page letter that we received from them, indicating that they had various interpretations of the law that we relied on as having a different interpretation. So we will continue to engage with the NDPP. They've also requested substantially more evidence, which we will gather for them in days to come. So it's not the end of it. We asked for a number of things, which was the opening of a docket, the conducting of an investigation. That has been done, and the decision not to arrest and prosecute at this stage has been taken, as you know, but it's not the end of the matter.
But you're effectively asking our prosecutors to investigate. I think you gave them about a month before Modi's arrival to investigate war crimes in another country. I mean, isn't this the domain of the International Criminal Court and Interpol? Do you really expect our prosecuting authority to go after this one?
Yeah, so that question is misplaced, because our own statute allows us to do exactly what we're doing. We're acting within the realms of what our local legislation provides. The statute allows us to lay the complaint. It does not give indemnity to a sitting head of state. And we're using the legal mechanisms that we have in order to do this. So there's nothing wrong in what we're doing. It's perfectly fine in law. It's been done before. The Constitutional Court has endorsed the legislation. You'll recall the Zimbabwe matter, where the Constitutional Court ruled that the police have a duty to investigate. So, yes, it's very competent in law.
Even the High Commission, the UN High Commission, calling for a commission of inquiry. So wouldn't any sort of investigation here in South Africa, no warrant of arrest by the International Criminal Court, there hasn't even been this commission of inquiry, wouldn't that be pretty premature?
I don't know which commission of inquiry you're relying on, but we rely on a UN report dated June 2018 that records these various acts of war crimes and crimes against humanity. And all that the NDPP has asked us for is to gather the source documentation making up the UN report, insofar as some of the crimes are concerned, and to comply with legislation in regard to command line responsibility. So we will continue to gather that evidence.
All right. Well, you have succeeded in highlighting the issue of Kashmir. Just for viewers who don't know, this is a region that's divided up between China, India, and Pakistan. A huge territorial dispute that's been ongoing there. Explain how you see the situation in Kashmir.
Well, you see, what we gauge from the UN report is that the Indian government has enacted a number of laws that essentially protect these soldiers from doing whatever they want to do, and this has resulted in the typical crimes of occupation, of civilian deaths, civilian injuries, civilian infrastructure, rape, arbitrary detention without trial. So, these are all matters that we know of coming from an apartheid history, and we need to understand the role of the international community in bringing down apartheid, and we think South Africa has a great moral responsibility in that regard. So we're watching these atrocities, and we essentially, and the UN report confirms that there are war crimes and crimes against humanity. So we remain hopeful that we will be able to produce the evidence. And like I said earlier, the investigation is slowed down, but the NDPP and the NDPP must be commended. I mean, in the investigation of the complaint, even though we gave them 30 days, they've had a very good look at the law. They've expounded their position on the law, and we hope to engage them further on those issues. And we'll put measures into operation to give the evidence that they're asking for.
And do you believe that the Prime Minister of India knows what's going on, condones what's going on in Kashmir?
You know, I would want to think so. We have direct evidence, and this relates to Obama having personally identified assassination targets during his term of office. And you know, I was thinking about this particular question this afternoon. I'm the spokesperson for the MLA on this issue. And wherever I've been appointed the spokesperson, I need to have the detail of what is going on. So while Modi may not know about the exact victims and who was raped and who was shot, there certainly is a blanket instruction to annihilate the people of Kashmir or to make life as difficult as possible. So my understanding of the report and my understanding of the Nuremberg Charter in regard to command line responsibility is that he's complicit in these crimes committed by his soldiers, much like we had a number of ex-security branch policemen held responsible for command line responsibility events in this country.
All right, thank you very much. That was Yousha Tayob from the Muslim Lawyers Association.